Okay, so this is part 3 of why we use written accents in Spanish, why we see words with written accents, and why sometimes we don't. We did a part 1 with 2 instances, then we did a part 2 where we talked about vowels and diphthongs and how we break them up, and now we're going to do a part 3, which is going to be shorter and easier and much more simple and easy to follow along. Now remember, these rules is just for your information. You don't really have to dig into it or learn them. It's just you have that curiosity to know why it is that we have some written accents or not. This will tell you why. You need to apply that logic eventually once you really get into Spanish to be able to know why you should or you shouldn't. This will help. But at this point, it's just kind of like for your information. So we're going to talk about the fourth instance. The fourth instance is probably my favorite because it's very simple. There are not too many of them. And this is because in Spanish, we sometimes use written accents, which we call tilde, to differentiate one-syllable words. A one-syllable word in Spanish absolutely never requires a tilde, unless you want to make a difference. And there's a few instances when we want to make a difference. For example, we have tú versus tú. Tú without an accent, or tú without a tilde, I should say, is going to be your, and tú with a tilde is going to be you. Then we also have me versus me. Me without a tilde is my, and the me with a tilde is going to be me, as in the prepositional me, the one that comes after prepositions. Para mí, por mí, de mí. Then we also have te without a tilde and te with a tilde. That's going to be you as the object pronoun you. Yo te veo, yo te llamo, yo te quiero, te amo. You heard about that? Te amo. I love you. And then te with a tilde. That's going to be tea, the tea that we drink. El versus el. El without a tilde is the, el hombre, el carro, el problema. And then el with a tilde is he. El trabaja, el estudia, el compra, el vende. The last one we're going to do is going to be sí. There you go. Sí. Sí without a tilde is going to be if, and sí with a tilde is going to be yes. So you want to say yes, sí. You want to write that down, that's going to take a tilde. If you want to say if, then you're going to use sí without a tilde. Si quieres, if you want. So that's going to be the fourth instance, and there's a few other cases like this. De without a tilde, off from, de with a tilde, that's a subjunctive conjugation of dar, which is to give. Quizás te dé un regalo. I might give you a present. That's more advanced. You don't have to worry about that at this point. But the de with the tilde is the conjugation of a verb in a subjunctive mode. So that's going to be the fourth instance. The fifth instance has to do with question words. Question words are going to be words like qué, quién, cuándo, cuánto, dónde. When you use a question word in a question or an exclamation, then you put a tilde. That's it. If you don't, then you're going to put a tilde. That's why you're going to see them. Because at this point, when you're learning Spanish, you're just going to be seeing things and you're going to be wondering, how do I know this? Because my students ask me, how come sometimes you do, how come sometimes you don't? So again, question words used in questions or in exclamations, they take tildes. For example, ¿qué? ¿Qué quieres? What do you want? Or ¿quién? Who? ¿Quién es? Who is it? That's going to take a tilde. ¿Cuándo? If you say, ¿cuándo es la fiesta? When is the party? ¿Cuándo is going to take a tilde in that case. ¿Cuánto? For example, a very common question, ¿cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? How much does it cost? In a question, it's going to take a tilde. ¿Dónde? ¿Dónde in a question, as in ¿dónde vives? Where do you live? It's going to also take a tilde. These two will be the fourth and the fifth instance when we use in Spanish written accents. This is a part 3 video. There's a part 1 and a part 2. Again, if you want access to more information or classes with the Cortez method, go to cortezmethod.com. If you want a class of how you can speak in Spanish in past, present, and future with the 7 basic actions of communication, muchas gracias, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.